distinguished colleague from the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We are grateful for the opportunity to come here this afternoon to speak to the media and to the Liberian people about the 2022-2023 bicentennial edition of the National County Sports Meet. As many of you are aware, from 1822 to 2022 is 200 years for the returns of our brothers and sisters that were sold in slavery. So this year, the government of Liberia and its people are celebrating 200 years. So this edition of the National County Sports Meet is the bicentennial edition. This year, the National County Sports Meet will start on the 17th of December in Grand Bassa County, where the official opening will take place. Grand Bassa County will be hosting Group A. Group A is comprising of Grand Bassa County, Riverside County, Grand Cape Mount County, and Grand Chile County. Group B will be hosted in Bangabon County. Group B comprised of Bon County, Madibi, Vaburu, and Sino. Group C is Lofa County. Lofa County, Nima, Bomi, and Ribaji will be in Vanjama. Group D will be in Happo, hosted by Maryland. Grand Crew is also in that group in Mosorado County. This year, the National County Sports Meet is sponsored by ArcelorMittal Liberia Limited. ArcelorMittal this year is our prime sponsor, what we also call hairline sponsor, though we have other sponsors for the National County Sports Meet. Orange Liberia is one of our sponsors. Lesca Trust is one of our sponsors. The Liberia International Ship and Corporate Registry, APN Terminal, NASCO, Dutchbell. We have smaller companies that are also part of the sponsorship of the National County Sports Meet. This year, ArcelorMittal, for their sponsorship, provided $250,000. As part of that sponsorship, because our funding or the subsidy from the government of Liberia is yet to be provided by the Ministry of Finance, we have provided $7,000 each to the 15 counties for preparation until the subsidy provided by government can be ready. $2,000 additional were also given to the 4 counties that are hosting the counties, the 4 venues, the Grand Bassa County, Bon County, Maryland, and Lofa. As part of that sponsorship, because ArcelorMittal operates in 3 counties, they also provided additional funding. They provided $10,000 to Nima County because it is the base of their investment. Bon County, because they operate through Bon County to Grand Bassa County, they provided $7,500 each to Grand Bassa County and Bon County. Lesca, the Liberia Ship and Corporate Registry, have provided all the trophies, the medals, and everything regarding individual awards for the National County Sports Meet for this year. We want to be grateful to them. APN Terminal will also be providing jerseys for the kickball and the football category of the National County Sports Meet. The presentation of those jerseys will be done tomorrow in the Free Port of Monrovia at the APN Terminal offices. We also want to be grateful to them for their sponsorship. As you are aware, or many of you may be aware, the National County Sports Meet is the biggest sporting event in our country, and it's a major deliverable of the government of Liberia, established in 1956 by William V. Tubman for peace, reconciliation, and togetherness for the citizens of Liberia to come together to play. As you also know, during the National County Sports Meet, regardless of where you come from, regardless of your affiliation regarding political parties, people go together to sing, to celebrate their counties. So it is must that we count on you journalists to preach the message of peace. Because county meet, regardless of where in Liberia you find yourself, you belong to a county. And we need you to preach, to disseminate the message of peace, reconciliation, and oneness as we celebrate the 200 years of existence of our country since 1822. The National County Sports Meet is a short-term employment for our country. It provides short-term employment for athletes, referees, match commissioners, statisticians, match commissioners, and the rest of the people. Our statistics have shown that they employ 152 referees from kickball, football, basketball, and volleyball. They also employ 1,200 athletes, footballers, kickballers, basketballers, and volleyballers. For that 2 months, counties employ or invest into these athletes, and we also want to be grateful to the Liberia Football Association for allowing their athletes to participate in the National County Sports Meet. We also want to be grateful to the Basketball Federation for allowing their athletes to participate in the National County Sports Meet. We want to be grateful to the Liberia Kickball Federation for allowing their athletes to also participate. We want to be grateful for volleyball, the Athletic Federation, who also allow their athletes to form part of the National County Sports Meet. We also want to urge all citizens of Liberia who comes from wherever country you come from, go behind your country, celebrate, and also support them. Do not use the National County Meet as just being political because you want to gain fame, but go there and be sincere in identifying with your country, support them to make sure that at least they represent your country very well. We want to say this to our citizens. The National County Sports Meet is not winning at all costs. There will be 15 counties participating. There will be 1 winner in football. There will be 1 winner in basketball. There will be 1 winner in kickball. Regardless of the result, we want Liberia to be peaceful. If Liberia is peaceful, we all enjoy the peace. Do not go there wanting to win at all costs, at the detriment of the Liberian people. We want to urge you. And we also want to appeal to the journalists to help us disseminate this message to our people, that the National County Sports Meet, the intent for which it was established in 1956 was for peace, reconciliation, and unity. And we still believe that that reason still exists today in 2022. Last year we had some issues with the rules and regulations of the National County Sports Meet. Those issues were resolved and we have amended those rules for this bicentennial edition of the National County Sports Meet. We also talked about substitutions. Players that are qualified to play in the National County Sports Meet. Before, our law says when you play for the national team, you do not stand a chance. But consultations around the 15 counties, lieutenants, and the steering committee, we now say sometimes some players are recruited for the national team, they play just 1 game and they are abandoned. They have no opportunity anymore to represent their counties. We said no, we cannot disenfranchise those players until you can play more than 5 senior international games for Liberia. You are still qualified to play for your country of birth or whatever country you may choose to play for. We also have some rules last year that says if your team is relegated from 2nd division to 3rd division, you remain a 2nd division player until after 2 years. After consultation, we say no. When your club is relegated from 1st division to 2nd division, once you enter the field to play in a 2nd division match, you are deemed a 2nd division player. So that rules will also change. And many of the rules that we cannot outright say here today, we will provide the rules and regulations to journalists who might have interest in the rules and regulations. We also talk about this year, because of financial constraint, we will be playing only 3 disciplines. We will be playing football, kickball, and basketball. We are also negotiating with the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning to make sure that subsidies that are supposed to go to the counties are provided, so that the national counties movement will be successful and the implementation of the league will also be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Listening to the Deputy Minister for Sports and the Minister of Sports. If you are sport inclined, please come in the queue and ask your sporting questions. Please introduce yourself. Mr. Minister, please take note.
Thank you so much. My name is Morris Walati and I report for OKF. Thank you so much, Mr. Andy, for the presentation. The first question is, over the years, we normally hear street corners regarding the money you collect during the campaigns. So I want to know where you can place, and from gate intake and all of that. Yeah. So where, and I don't know whether you have made report to who and all of that. I wouldn't know much about that. And then I also want for you to talk about the recently launched and Rick's Youth and the program by the Youth and Sports and the government of Liberia. I want you to talk about that. Thank you so much.
I'm a Deputy Minister for Sports, you're not Deputy Minister for Youth. I cannot answer anything regarding youth as they go in the ministry.
Thank you, Minister, for coming. Minister Tombo, thank you for the deliberation. And I think they are all meant for the people of Liberia. But there are some training issues, and the issue about the census, how far the data, where are we, how many people being counted, are they still counting people? People would like to know. The National Elections Commission made some adjustment in the date of registration. People are concerned. You did mention about the election next year. We want to get some update on that. How far are we? And to the minister, I want to know the prize for the winner of this year county sports meet. The prize, I can recall some, I think a year or two ago, some 3 million Liberian dollars was dished out to the winner, and I don't know how much the winner for this year county sports meet will have to take home. And the last question is, the SKD, as we all know, is on renovation. What we expect to carry the final?
Well, thank you very much. My name is Shakespeare and I report for Jet TV, Liberia. Thank you very much, Mr. Tombo. The deliberation was quite interesting. Thank you for bringing some praises on Liberian journalists for their coverage. But my question has to do with the issue of the rice that you talked about. There are a lot of Liberians in various quarters of our country start to believe the government of Liberia when they announced the new price for rice, $17 wholesale and $17.50 retail. about some sharp contradictions from Senator Sir Joseph yesterday when he sat on a OK conversation with Julius Jett. I followed him religiously yesterday. He said that the price of the rice that the government, the new price is imposing, like when people are too, high, and he take a back. And he also talked about bringing some rice in country that will be sold below the price. And he even disagreed with the government that the price that the government sell the rice and that is too high. He talked about they made some negotiation with the rice importer to sell the rice at the price somewhere around $14 to $15, and they are still imposing. And he also said that on the world market, the rice price is kind of a bit lower, and then rice importers in Liberia are making more profit at the detriment of the Liberian people. Now my question here is that we want to know who is saying the truth, the Liberian government or Sir Joseph, and even Senator Snow even weighed in and gave a unwavering support to that fight that they want to make sure that the importer revisit that price is too high for the Liberian people. Who is saying the truth? I want to know here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Cynthia Boniza. I report from Joy and Hot Pepper newspaper. Mr. Tumbo, this morning I listened to you talk about AFL Chief of Staff statement. Was I in the wrong? What do you make of that?
Hello, my name is Omar Salif and I report for the Atlantic Broadcasting Corporation. My question goes to the youth and sport. We believe that the country's sport meet was meant for scouting youthful talent that are home-based purposely. But in recent time, we see the various countries does not actually scout their talents for their country, but normally do that in Mortuary. For instance, River G County set a roadblock in recent time, demanding that their county team be represented wholly by those who are residing within the country. Are there plans by the Ministry of Youth and Sport to put in certain criteria that those who are residing within their various country can be included within the process?
Oh, thank you very much. My name is Rob C. Yancey from Balan FM. Mr. Gianni, Deputy Minister, you spoke about 3 disciplines for this year edition of the council meet. You talk about football, kickball, and now basketball. But my concern is June to if women football will be included, because last year I noticed they were protesting concerning their inclusion into the county sport meet.
Okay, my name is Michael Kale and I report for Prime FM. My first question goes to the Deputy Minister. When you were speaking, the Deputy Minister of Sports, you make 2 important points. You stress on the financial constraint that the ministry has been faced with, especially for this year's tournament. And then you said the government have failed to provide their funding. For the government have not yet, because it is a long-term preparation, and up to now you said the government have not provided it. Yeah. So I'm concerned about the success of the tournament, because up to now they have not yet received money from the government. Yeah. I'm concerned about the success of the tournament. And 2, again, I'd like to ask you, someone asked about the Chief of Staff statement. I don't know how the government is receiving this particular revelation that was made, but it's scary, and many Liberians are concerned. How is the government receiving this information? How are you going about in terms of investigation in ensuring that you bring to bear this entire issue?
Thank you. I'm Stephen Ramos. My question to the Deputy Minister for Sports and Ministry of Information. Sir, in previous years, Deputy Minister of Sports, my question to you is, in previous years, there have been other categories involved into the county league, and over 4 or 5 years now, we are yet to see the inclusion of basketball, the inclusion of other sports like volleyball and other things. Why are we, in terms of including these sports into the county league? And my second question is, 2018, 2019, when Bombay County won the county league, there was a promise made for the construction of a sports park. This also brought some disenchantment to the citizens because what was promised was not really met. Are there plans in order to develop some counties or improve some counties, especially those counties that will win the county league, in order to also be able to build those capacities within our county?
Good afternoon. My name is Gerald T. Morris. I report for Food and FM. So I'm the Deputy Minister of Sports at the Ministry of Sports. My concern has to do with accreditation of sports journalists. You never mentioned how sports journalists can apply for accreditation to cover the National County Sports Week. I'm aware that the Press Department launched an online accreditation which journalists have tried to apply and is not going through. So how can one go about it? Thank you.
Thank you. I want to start with the last person, then I go in that sequence. For the first time in the history of the National County Sports Meet, we will be launching an online platform for the National County Sports Meet for the first time since 1956. This year, you can stay in Maryland and log on to the portal. And the team manager of Maryland County will register his players and you in Australia, America, any part of the world, and access Maryland County team. We have graduated from analog to digital. This year will be the first time that we'll be trying that. Our technicians, our RT professionals are working on it. Tomorrow actually we'll be launching the platform, and there will be some challenges. Our director of communication is here. Probably we can give 1 or 2 minutes to make that clarity as to why journalists are going through some problem to log on to the portal. But probably it's because we are launching it tomorrow. That's why you are going through the problem. But he will be the best suited person to say that. But officially, the portal will be launched tomorrow. It will be launched tomorrow to the public, and the public will have access. Meaning that if you are in Maryland, you don't have to come to Monrovia to do business. You can go online to do whatever you want to do to know exactly what you want to know about the county meet. So everything about this year county meet will be online. Registration of players, accessing who get yellow card, who playing, start list, tactical list, everything about the county meet will be online this year. We call it the National County Sports Meet portal. So like I said, this year is the first. We might have some challenges. Even we as administrators might have some challenges. You'll bear with us. So probably that's the reason why journalists are having some tough time in applying online. So, but like I said, when I'm through, the director for communication will highlight as to why you guys are having some problem or difficulties in accessing the online platform. Yes, the guy we talk about accreditation. If the online platform is not working, we will ask you to come to the Ministry of Youth and Sports to see the director of communication, and I'm sure he can help you go through the process manually until at such time when the platform is launched, then we can go through that process. This year, you know that I don't know who all have been at the SKD complex. We have a specific area for journalists. Then when you go to the walk-up, you have a media tribute. Now the SKD has a media tribute exclusively for the journalists. We are also appealing to you, don't carry your friend who is not a journalist there. That play will only be exclusively for the journalists. Accredited. Okay, accredited journalists. Do not carry your brother because your brother will be taking a space of another journalist. We are appealing to you to at least respect the media space so that the media will have the opportunity to work well. Those who have their journalists, who have their computer, you can take your computer to the stadium. Internet facility will be provided for you to do your work. As the game is going on, internet will also be provided for you to do your work. We are moving from 0 to 100. We know that we were banned. The reason why we were banned is for to work on the progress of the SKD. Those who knew the SKD a few years ago, now if you go there, you have individual bucket seats. No, please let's say that. If you buy your ticket for gate 10, your seat will be available for the gate 10. If you think that you can carry somebody with you, that person does not have the seat number with you. So there will be some hard restriction this year. If you have the opportunity, you must small brother go. That person does not have a seat there. We also have challenges. The stadium was 35,000 before. It's now little over 22,000. Wow. 13,000 seats were taken away. You know, before it used to be, let's just say that. But the space of the seat have reduced the stadium. 13,000 seats is gone. So we had limitation regarding seating arrangement or activities at the stadium. Please also take note. The SKD is not like before.
So you said the seating capacity is what?
It's actually 23,029. But by FIFA standard, you will sell 95% or percentage of the seat. So 5% will also be vacant. Now I said little over 22,000 because you cannot fill the capacity of that. You need to leave 5%, marginal variance of 5%. That's why I said 22,000, but it's actually 23,029 seats. There was a gentleman who spoke that for more than 5 years or 10 years there have been no volleyball, basketball. I'm not sure you've been living in Liberia. Because if you have been living in Liberia, you will know that the country meet. Last year we played volleyball, basketball, athletics, football, keyboard. All the sporting disciplines were played last year. And Grand Crew carried the volleyball and basketball. Nima County carried the football and Lofa County carried the keyboard. Athletics overall performance of one county. So I'm not sure if you were in Liberia properly, you did not know. They said the only reason why we are not playing volleyball and athletics is challenges. Government is on financial constraint. Up to now, like I said, money that is supposed to be for the national county sports meet is yet to be provided as the government is paying attention to salaries of employees or civil servants. Once that is done, we believe that the Ministry of Finance will make good their promises to support the national county sports meet. As the national county sports meet, we all know it is a major deliverable of the government of Liberia. So it is the obligation of the government to support the national county sports meet. But as of now, the government is constrained. We are yet to get those resources to provide it to the counties. That's the reason we are not playing volleyball and athletics. This year also, we are in discussion with the Liberia Scrabble Federation and the Liberia Chess Federation to make sure we introduce what we call intellectual sports. And hopefully, we will have them played. But we are still in conversation. Somebody talked about women football. If you know the theme of this year, we said women sports participation. It means we recognize that. Right now we are in conversation with the United Nations Women Office to make sure that women football will be introduced. But we're also in conversation with the Liberia Football Association to also make sure that women football is introduced. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not embarrassed to say this. We have constraint, financial constraint. The counties have more than 100 athletes to cater to. Sometimes the money we even provide to them. is not sufficient. Take for example, we provide 18,000 to each county, and you have 100 athletes, basketball, football, volleyball, athletics, this, that. They have to feed them 2-3 times a day for more than 2 months. Just multiply that. They have to travel, like for instance, a county living from, Nima is going to Lofa to play. They have to stay in hotel, they have to do everything for more than one week or 2 weeks. You have more than 100 athletes. It's not an easy thing. That's why most of the sports, the counties themselves, the superintendents, say, no, it is tough. We cannot play all the sports. 2 weeks ago, I spent 2 weeks at the Capitol building meeting the speaker and the leadership of the House, discussing the National County Sports League and sponsorship or support. It's tough that I cannot explain our conversation with the speaker here. But it's tough. No money. The counties themselves are suffering. No money. Take for example, Nima County is benefiting 10,000 from ArcelorMittal. Does Maryland have that same opportunity? No. Does Sano have that same opportunity? No. So it is only the additional funding only comes to 3 counties. What happened to the other 12? Take for example, Riverside. What is the size of Riverside? How many persons who follow sports from Riverside to support their counties? There are not many. The enthusiasm in Nima might not be the same in Riverton. The enthusiasm in Grand Bassa County might not be the same you have in Bapolu. The way the Bassa people will support their sports is not the same with other counties. The way Magibi will support sports is not the same with other counties. That is the challenge. It will provide 18,000 across the board. But other countries have other advantages, they have other companies. The Mosorado, 90% of the major companies are here in Mosorado. So the superintendent of Mosorado have more advantage as compared to the superintendent of Riroji. There are challenges. For now, we are yet to get funding for the National County Sports League for 2022-2023. Though we are still in conversation with the Ministry of Finance. And we believe that in a few days, things will be okay. Somebody talking about scouting youthful players. Yes, that's why we have statisticians from the Liberia Football Association who are employed and go to the counties to make sure that talents are scouted. We also have in the rules and regulations that 10 of your 25 players must come from the county. That's why when you hear most of the time the counties are playing district league to determine their 10. We cannot say don't bring all your players from your county, but the law also says 10 of these players must be homegrown players. We are not in your county. If you come with your listing and register, say your player needs a John Yakwaro from Lofa County. We don't have the expertise to go to Lofa to determine whether John Yakwaro is actually from Lofa. You have to be sincere to the process, and you also have to be sincere. If you decide that 10 of your players will come from your county, fine. If you decide that all of your players will come from your county, it's an advantage for your county. Let me say this. Maryland, the reason why we changed the law to say that when you play 3 times in the county league, you got to either graduate or you no longer will be part of the county league. We have to change that law because 100% of the players who play for Maryland live in Maryland and go into school there, or they live there. Maryland cannot borrow. The other counties will come to Morovia, also 1 or 2 players from Littleton, West Point, or 5th division, 2nd division. 100% of the people who play for Maryland come from Maryland. So if you change the law to say if you play 3 county league, you graduate, Maryland will suffer. That's why we were forced to change that law. Because other counties who are very far from Morovia, who depend on their own room players, you will disenfranchise them if that law will exist. That's why we changed the law. Yes, indeed, we have statisticians, technical people from the Liberia Football Association who work with us to identify talents for our Honor 17, our Honor 20, and the senior national team. Somebody talked about whether the SKD was banned and whether the final will be played at SKD. Yes, sir. SKD was banned some 2 years ago. Luckily, we are now clear. That's why you saw Sierra Leone was also banned like Liberia, but Sierra Leone played more than 5 international matches in September, October at the SKD. The SKD now is playing international matches. Those who watch the Wakanga versus Rivers United was also played there. Leska versus Gadwagi was also played there. Kalong FC came from Sierra Leone to also play Future FC here. Bo Rangers also play Constantine from Algeria here. So there have been a series of international matches being played at the SKD. Yes, the finals of the, in fact from the quarterfinal, we will be playing at the SKD Sports Complex. Somebody asked whether the prices remain the same. As of today, we cannot determine the prices per winner. Last year, the winner of the cup will take maybe 500,000, 1 million. Those prices are determined by our sponsors. This year, we are in conversation with EcoBank. EcoBank has agreed to provide the prices. If I stand here now to say the winner will take 1 million, I will lie. But we are in conversation with companies, with our sponsors, to see which one can be done by them. Like yesterday, the insurance company of Africa called me that they want to take care of the keyboard category. So we are in conversation with other companies who will come out to say we are responsible for this, we are responsible for that. But yes, indeed there will be prices, but those prices are determined by our sponsors. So, but as we go or as we progress to the finals, the prices will be known to the public. As of now, we are still in conversation with our sponsors to make sure that those prices are provided. Like I said during my presentation, the Liberia Ship and Corporate Industry, LESCA, has provided all the individual awards, the trophies, the medals, and everything. They have provided that. So yes, indeed, those things will be provided. But we are in conversation with companies to determine as to which and how or how much. Somebody talked about gate intake. It's a strange thing, but I want you to listen very clearly. I don't want you to go and misquote me or misquote my presentation. The gate intake is divided amongst the 8 quarter-finalists who come to Monrovia. If you play in the quarter-final, semi-final, and grand final, the money you take home is determined by your progression. As you progress from quarter-final to semi-final, your money is completely different from somebody who dropped in the quarter-final. As you progress from the semi-final to the grand final, your money is completely different from somebody who dropped in the semi-final. But yes, after all that, we pay taxes only money to LRA. So LRA is informed. The Minister of Finance also work with us regarding this, and we pay taxes only money. The balance of the gate intake, Finance Ministry is aware as to what is done. Last year, Finance Ministry is aware. All the time we play counting meet, those money are accounted for. Right after counting meet, the ACC will go check our books, GAC will go check the books, and all the accounting, RAA also employed by the Minister of Youth and Sports, or in all government ministries and agencies. They also work there and guide you as to what is to be done with the gate intake. The gate intake is not for the Minister of Youth and Sports, it's for the participating counties. LRA taxes are paid, and the balance one, the Minister of Youth and Sports, the Minister of Internal Affairs, and the Minister of Finance and Development Planning know exactly what is done. So far, I'm not sure if I captured everybody, but these were the points that I captured to talk about. I don't know if
I've read the youth stuff.
Sir, I just told you I'm the Deputy Minister for Sports. I'm not Deputy Minister for Youth, so I cannot speak to anything regarding youth that I may not give you the rightful or accurate information regarding that. Thank you.